Welcome to It's a Grand Life, where our mission is to be a voice for grand families and kinship caregivers everywhere. Did you know that in the United States alone, there are 2.3 million grandparents raising their grandchildren? 2.3 million. It's a Grand Life is committed to making a difference for those kids. That's why we have the podcast, a Facebook group, and the Grand Fund. The Grand Fund, which is a 501c3 which was launched in June of 2024, provides financial assistance to grand families, including shelter, food, clothing, and household needs. Grand families are in every neighborhood, in every city, every tribe and territory nationwide. If this is you or someone you love, we're here for you. And we welcome you to join us on this mission. Our goal is to offer hope and resources to help you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. You can also join our Facebook group. Just search for it under It's a Grand Life. And your reviews, comments, and sharing of our podcasts help us reach others that need assistance. Welcome to another episode of It's a Grand Life. Hello, my name is Craig Nash. We'd like to welcome you to another It's a Grand Life. And today we're taking a trip to St. Louis, Missouri. And I think you're really going to be blessed today. Our guests are Stephanie Pogue and Brian Summerville. And they've got an agency that helps grand families called Gigi's Tribe. And they've got a very unique fundraising component that I want to share with all of you kinship care organizations across the country, because you too could come up with some creative ways to improve funding for your organization just by listening to what Stephanie and Brian have to say. So Stephanie, Brian, welcome to It's a Grand Life, and so glad to have you guys here. And could you give us a little introduction to this idea of Gigi's Tribe? How did we get going with this?
Well, thank you for having us. At Gigi's Tribe, we'd like to help grandparents who are raising their grandkids with some of the fun things. Like we so understand how many hard things there are to do when you're trying to raise your grandkids. So many legal things, getting the guardianship, making sure you have the house, the food, all of those things, doctors, visits, health insurance, all of that's so hard. And all of that stress and anxiety that you have, the kids also have. And then they also have issues, they've lost their parent or their parent is out of the picture. And so we like to bring some of those fun things back in, some of those things that fall to the bottom of the list. The sports clubs, the community center clubs, the dance classes, the music lessons, all of that stuff is what we like to do.
Those extracurriculars cost money. And, for grand families, they don't have a lot of extra money. At least the 20% that you and I are familiar with that are at or below the poverty line, if you could provide the fun things, that would be just awesome. The dance classes, go ahead.
Yeah, we like to see them smile, right? The grandparents, you want your grandkids to be happy. And while you're dealing with all the hard things, this makes them happy. You can see them smile, you can see them have a good time, and we pay fun.
I mean, what more, we're not grandparents yet, but what more enlightening to a grandparent is it to, again, see that smile on their grandkid's face, right? And so not being able to do that and having to stress and worry about how do we make these pennies add up to something. And unfortunately, in today's day and age, those pennies, it takes a whole lot more pennies to add up to something. So what we don't want is to have the feeling that the grandparents feel like the kids are just aging there with them.
Yeah, one of my grandmothers said the other day, she's like, I think she's well into her 60s and she's been raising these kids for 7 or 8 years. And she said, I'm watching them get old sitting on the couch with me. Like they can't sit on the couch with Granny every day after school. They have to get out, have some social interaction and activities.
Right.
It's like you're saying.
And, the stress is upon those grand families. No one planned for it. I mean, I don't know if anybody ever plans for that, right? And so just the anxiety, the stress, the difficulty. And, there are opportunities out there and great organizations, and there's aid available, right? We're not saying that there's nothing there, but that takes time. Mm-hmm. That sometimes takes resources to be able to get resources. And so while dealing with all that, as we mentioned, the hard things, we want to inject some fun back into the life and bring the smiles back and make sure that everybody's, just enjoying the day,
And did this awareness about some of the struggles that grand families are dealing with, that came out of your Medicare agency experience, didn't it? Because you deal with folks over 60, 65 all the time.
Yes, it did. First, we've been doing Medicare for 20 years plus, and we knew that grandparents were very involved with their grandkids. We just had one come in the other day and said, "Do you have space for me to bring all three of them, because we're going school shopping after our appointment?" Like, we knew there was a lot of involvement, but it was really, several years ago we were working at a lot of different food pantries, and it was shocking how many grandparents were coming through with these toddlers and babies hanging on them. And so that's when we really started seeing that this is people that need help. This is something that we could do.
That's kind of how it came to us. We've been very lucky in business, and in our agency, obviously helping a lot of seniors, being in that demographic and aware of a lot of the struggles that are there. We've been really blessed, and we had this calling that it's time for us to kind of like give back. It's time for us to share, kind of not necessarily what we know about what we do, but share some of the blessings that we've been given. And so it came to us. We were thinking, okay, where are we going to contribute to? What are we going to do? And it came to us that all of these grandparents that we see week in and week out, and not just the desperate and the poor and the destitute, the downtrodden. It wasn't just that. Right. It was parents rolling up in nice car, or grandparents rolling up in nice vehicles, well dressed, but these children ranging in ages, there were never the parents with them. And as we got to know the situations a little bit more, it just became very apparent to us that that's what we wanted to do. But not being here, send us what you need or tell us what you need and here you go. We wanted to do something specific, an impact. So how do we impact? And then we thought, well, where's the fun? Let's bring some fun. And if it means this child who wants to get into music and grandma and grandpa can't afford the keyboard or the trumpet or guitar or whatever, that's okay. Here, let's figure out how we can make this happen, because, there's blessings everywhere. We just, sometimes you just need a shepherd to pull them together.
And how do you get your clients to, because they are chatting with you about their Medicare coverage, I'm sure. How do you get them to open up about the needs that they have with their kids?
It's just a natural part of the conversation. When we're looking at the health insurance for the retiree, we're also looking at everybody else in the house. What's going on with your spouse? What's going on with, anybody else that lives with you? And the question always comes up, can you help with my grandchild's health insurance also? Because you can't go on their Medicare plan. Right. There's no employer group coverage for that, especially with the whole guardianship issues and that kind of thing. So it's just a natural part of the conversation.
It really does come up. When you're, I don't know how to really, get the point across, but sometimes when you're talking with people and you come across someone that really cares about you and what is happening to you, things come out. You start to share. And, everyone's got a story, right? Everyone has a story. Right. And, it's sometimes when, whether it's us mentioning, hey, we're doing this now too. I mean, we like to talk about some of the awesome things that we've got going on, because when people also hear great things, they want to be a part of it as well. Right. But then you hear the stories of my neighbor, my aunt. And, I've told some my best friend stories too, asking for a friend, that kind of thing happens. But that's how the stories come out, just through natural, conversation. And it's just having a compassion for people, really. I mean,
yeah. And even if it's not happening to them, like you said, it's happening to people they know, or they want to help. Like we have one man who gives music lessons, and he says, if anybody ever wants music lessons, I'm happy to donate my time and do that. So, everybody wants to.
One of our clients, he was just in the office just a few days ago. In his spare time, his hobby is fixing up old bicycles. Amazing. And so, all of a sudden now we've got fun. And when they want to help, and they, everyone wants to lend resources when it's something good going on. So it's just spreading the word and, opening the heart.
So you guys have had an established Medicare agency for 20 plus years. And now you've got this heart to serve folks in the St. Louis community. Why do you call it Gigi's Tribe? How did we get there?
That's you.
You're going to get me emotional again already. So everybody's got a Gigi. Whether you call them Nam Nam, Mama, Paul, everybody's got a Gigi, a grandma, that person who's over the family. I'm also, I happen to be Native American, and so that's where the tribe comes in. So the Gigi and, Gigi's tribe, this is Gigi's family. This is what Gigi's looking after. So that's how the name, it came to us like snap of our fingers. But that kind of, there is one lady in our community, in our cornhole community. It's a hobby that we have, which will probably come up here in a little bit, but her nickname is Gigi because she is, she's just that, if you bring your baby, those new parents, when they bring the babies, buddy, she's the first one to hold it. She's going to be the last one to hold it. She's going to be the one that's coming up and she's putting her arm around your waist because, she's short and she just wants to give you a hug and a squeeze. That's Gigi, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we feel that we want to help Gigi.
I just love that. And in our family, it's Yaya. My wife's Greek. So for Gigi, that she's launched this whole mission to help her tribe, to help folks that are maybe don't have enough bandwidth for the fun things. They don't have enough resources for the baseball uniforms or the dance class or the tutoring or the music lessons. So let's talk about how do you raise the funds to help everyone at Gigi's Tribe. I mean, I think this is so unique, and I really want our organizations, if you're listening to this and you have an organization across the country, there's been a lot of concern about cuts with some of the federal budget and what have you, and folks concerned about resources coming to some of the agencies. It's always been on my heart. How do you be self-sustainable? I was an entrepreneur like you guys were my whole career, and you have figured it out. And I go to a lot of meetings where the folks that run these organizations are kind of downtrodden because they're really concerned about the future. But if you're able to raise the funds to help your constituents on your own, you don't have to worry about checks coming from the government. So Stephanie and Brian, how do you raise the money to help Gigi's Tribe and continue to grow that help?
We started sort of privately funding. Our agency was doing well and we were able to contribute. And then, like we said, clients were willing to help and donate. But we realized we want to give more. We want to donate more. And so we looked at what our strengths are. We have business background. Brian has marketing background. And so we started a separate company, an e-commerce company, in order to start that funding or increase the funding to Gigi's Tribe.
Right. Fundraising to me is about as fun as root canal, at the dentist's office.
We're not really people to set up events.
My patients, I worry to death and about will anybody show up or trying to schedule a big event and put all the logistics together. Remember, I mentioned I'm a control freak, so I definitely would have to be involved in all of that. And it just sounded so much fun that I just couldn't wait. No, that was being sarcastic. Yes. No, we having a background in marketing, and sales. It just kind of came to us, like, what else can we do? How else can we do this? And, just watching trends and putting the heads down and the ears open and just listening and watching and who's having success in this e-commerce world, who's having success in generating an income that's reliable and sustainable, and who is doing it to where they don't have to have big sales teams or brick and mortar businesses or big fulfillment, and how do I do the shipping and all that? I mean, so we did some searching, and what it came down to is we're selling subscriptions for sticker clubs and t-shirt clubs, and we're doing it in a niche that we find as a hobby. So it's fun for us because taking on, if we were going to take on business, and whether it's doing it for, I don't care, if it's for funding a nonprofit or if it's for putting food on the table. Doing business, starting one, is work. It's hard. It's not for the faint of heart, but doing something that we enjoy, or doing it in the niche that we enjoy, that we have passion for, I was willing to take on that extra, because it wouldn't be work. It's like, let's see if it works, kind of a thing.
Right.
So what we've created is a product tester kind of a community, where we have just different free plus shipping offers available for people who want to try them. But mostly it comes in off of buying a decal to support the community, to become a part of the community. It's $5. And then, they get a decal, they're involved in our group, right? Well, then we also have other offers, like a subscription offer for just $1 more. They're getting enrolled into a sticker club. And they get 4 stickers that are custom stickers that are made, with cheeky kind of sayings and slogans and things that are in the niche. So it's easier for us to create.
Right.
And folks subscribe to this, and then it pays $14.95 a month. The stickers cost us approximately $1 for 4 stickers for 4 different designs, and to have them made. So $1 a sticker, or $1 a set. Postage is 74 cents, and we're charging $14.95 on the continuity. And that's the secret to the sauce. It's the continuity. And it's not that you're playing on people not subscribing, but people like to get things in the mail.
Right.
They like getting a new t-shirt with a new design on it every single month. And they'll pay me $29.95 a month for that subscription.
Wow.
So, building up these continuities where people are okay with that, seeing that charge on the credit card and saying, oh yeah, I know what that is. I'm going to get either this or this or this, etc. This month. And, I haven't released the background of why we're doing this to our community yet, because I'm wanting to build it on a grassroots, again, to make sure it worked.
Right.
We're stepping out a little bit, and it's actually coming through validation. And so we're going to start bringing in the why. And once we do the why, I think it's like throwing a little gasoline on the fire. It's going to really erupt. And because, again, I really have a feeling the cornhole community, and, I'm sure everybody's hobbies and they have their loves, but that love, that game, that sport, it's a family. And when, because it's a fun game, right? Everybody loves to throw some bags in the backyard.
Right.
But it brings people together. And when it does that, people smile. What's the basis of how do you start love? You smile, right?
Exactly.
And once people start smiling and want to be a part of us or what we're doing, I think that's just going to make it go nuts.
Yeah. And this sounded much more fun to us than figuring out how to ask for grant money and, doing golf tournaments. And this sounded much more fun to us. So that's how we got it started.
Right.
But
So, it's been a great, we'll put it this way. I know there'll be some editing and delay time, but in our first 60 days, Gigi's Tribe profited. In the first 30 days, Gigi's Tribe profited in terms of being able, Baggers Corner, making money to be able to put into Gigi's Tribe. And so that's what we're really excited about, as just finding a continuity that pays over and over until somebody cancels. And, you follow all the FTC rules and you do everything. We have a set of developers. I pay them on a contract hour, and they happen to be overseas, and they're just great. I tell them what I want happened and built, and then I go to bed and I wake up the next morning and the page is all there. And then we have a shipping team that ships and takes care of all the fulfillment. We have a customer service team that takes care of all of our customer service, in terms of handling the cancellations. We have a designer that does our designs for us. And all of that is less than $1,000 a month for all of that package, right? So there is cost to doing business. Luckily, through ads and through just word of mouth, and again, the steamroller starts going, we have just hundreds of subscriptions now, and so it's rolling.
So there's no end to where this could go.
I hope not.
And you make a very good point in the whole cornhole arena. It is a family event. It's folks in their backyard having a soda, throwing a bean bag, and trying to beat Uncle Harry. And but if they know they're helping if they help other families, I think you've got a real sustainable model there that just continues to be a blessing to people that really need the help. And so, have you been able to help any families so far?
We have. We so we don't require applications. We don't provide grants. Our families come to us through people that we know. That's kind of how we vet the elders that we like to help. And just recently, we're helping some folks. We're providing transportation services for a family. They don't have the ability to have a car. Mm-hmm. And so we're helping them with public transportation passes and maps and training on how to use the public transportation systems here in the community. So that's just one that we're doing this week. And, but just different examples from
along with a membership to the community center near them, so that they can, the older one can do basketball, the younger one can swim, and the grandmother uses her Medicare Silver sneakers to go with them.
Right. So that's the one we just took care of that this week, and that's one we were really happy with. But it's the little things, from school clothes, and a couple $100 there, a couple $100 here. Right. It might not seem like much, but it's a lot to someone who's got 2 or 3 additional mouths to feed that they didn't count on. And I'm going to let Stephanie talk a little bit about it, but it's kind of helping these elders keep into the same, how would you say it, be technologically aware and keep up with these grandkids today. I mean, I joke about this, but when my grandpa went to the restroom, there was a newspaper or a Reader's Digest there, and there wasn't a cell phone going with to read with them, So right. How do they see this whole? What are you doing? You're doing what? And FaceTime and Snapchat and TikToks but helping them get familiar with that as well has been a challenge, but it's been fun.
We also had one recently. We find that people, again, are willing to help and donate their time, donate things. So one little girl wanted to do classes. It was kind of a toddler gym kind of thing, gymnastics, that kind of stuff. Well, the facility donated several classes for her. So instead of us giving them, gift cards, we actually help them get that service. So they're not using that money for something else that grandparents need. We're using it for the fun stuff.
Right.
Well, I just absolutely love what you guys are doing, and I think it's going to absolutely explode. And we need to stay in touch. You need to keep us informed as far as what's going on. And I would love it if sometime you could speak to a bunch of the grandparents that I work with through Generations United about how you have put this fundraising model together to make this sustainable and separate from your other Medicare business. But I just really can't thank you enough for coming on It's a Grand Life. The work you're doing is amazing. And Stephanie Pogue and Brian Summerville from Gigi's Tribe, you're an inspiration to the whole country. This is what we're hoping that will take off from sea to shining sea, is that we Americans who can help these grandparents who need the help can lend a hand. And thank you so much for being our guest here, and just appreciate you all so much. And I just have this feeling we're going to be working together and staying in touch. So any final thoughts for our audience before we go?
Well, Craig, thank you for giving us an opportunity to come on your podcast and at least sharing our message. We didn't know there were how many others were out there helping this, segment of grandparents, needing help. So knowing that there is someone, else out there really raising the flag and trying to not only help those grandparents along, but help those who want to help the grandparents along. That is what really touched me in our, short relationship here. So I want to thank you for being an inspiration to me, working harder and wanting to I hope this model scales. I really do, because I would love, and it doesn't have to be cornhole. It doesn't have to be, it can be any kind of niche, what's fun. But to be able just to have something, a continuity-based funding system, and if we could scale that out to others who may not know this from that, and, Visa and MasterCard, they know that those two different things, but you know what I'm saying? I would love to be able to help. So being a part of your group, Craig, is really a blessing to me, and I want to thank you for inviting us to it.
I guarantee you, Brian, they don't have a marketing director. A lot of the folks we're dealing with, but on behalf of all of us at It's a Grand Life, we want to partner with you, with someone in the St. Louis area. We want to be a blessing with you, and
awesome.
Because we're trying to create a network all over the country of organizations like yours that we can work with to be a blessing in all 50 states. And every tribe too, by the way. I work with some wonderful Native Americans through Generations United. I'd love to connect you with them. But I just really appreciate your time today. I look forward to staying in touch, and can't wait to hear what's next when you cross the 1 million subscriber mark or something.
Let's go. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you all so much. Look forward to seeing you real soon.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you for joining us today for It's a Grand Life. It's a Grand Life provides vital content, regulatory updates, and subject matter experts that are committed to supporting the 2.4 million kids and their caregivers from every neighborhood, every city, every tribe and territory nationwide. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. Every new subscriber and review helps us reach others that need assistance. As caregivers, we are united in purpose. We are driven by hope while providing strength for today and hope for tomorrow. We are truly making a difference while living the grand life. If you have a suggestion for a future episode, please reach out to us. But we'll see you next time for another It's a Grand Life. Thank you for joining us.